Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Power of One Challenger Series. Today we are racing around the Canadian Grand Prix right here in Montreal. Round 4, as we know, is one of the most important rounds when we go on to the championships, and we are racing on Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Jacques Villeneuve is Canada's only world champion, and the Grand Prix circuit is named after his father. And we can hear the drivers going through the pit lane, but we will get to that shortly. As we can see right now, the start finish in 3 sectors around this 2.7 miles long track, 13 corners, 2 detection zones and 3 DRS zones. This is gonna be a quite interesting race, as one mistake and you can be just down with it. Tire selection is soft, medium and hard, very usual, and of course the wet selection, which can happen here and is pretty often, is inter and wet. Today with me commentating is Frika.
How's it going? We're about a minute and a half in. I'm just gonna get right to it. Looks like 4 drivers, now 5, out on their opening laps. So we'll see what they're able to do. We've got short qualifying, so 1 session of 18 minutes, and we'll see what we got here. So, it looks like a couple more runners are on their way out. If we look to the horizon, we can see it's a little bit cloudy, so we'll see if that affects things later on with the potential for rain coming up.
Well, as we know, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is known for a few things. For example, the Wall of Champions, which George just passed. And if you want to, you can take us through with the Mercedes on board for a lap.
Oh my. I have to do it? You're the big fancy driver here. Come on now.
Okay.
This should be
I wanted to go without any directions from me, but yeah, sector 1 looks pretty clean from the Mercedes. I think he's trying to not get any validation this early in the session, so he isn't pushing his heart out yet. But you can see him just cutting the corners as much as he can, just to keep the car stable and as fast as he can to get to the second sector mark, which is not bad for now. He's purple in both sectors for sure right now, as he's the first one on track. Today, I think the pole position will be something around 110.2, but we will see what those drivers have to present for us. As he goes through the Wall of Champions, with a little bit of a mistake.
Is that number 1? Has our wall claimed its first victim?
Not yet, but another corner claimed a victim. Is right here, the McLaren. I think it was the McLaren that killed those.
Yeah, Suyan.
Unfortunate from the driver, as it is pretty easy to invalidate that. But we can see Shark going now for his second lap, as first was invalidated. The first corners he looked pretty stable. Now cutting the 2 corners as much as he can. That looks much better than what George did for us earlier. And that is a purple first sector. But we've got JTK that just went on to P1 with 10.7.
Now that's a pretty good time. Not too far off from your prediction there. I believe it was 110.2, so only a half a second away from where you believe the pole lap will be. Do you think you came in a little too heavy there with your time? Do you think they break 110?
I don't know, to be fair. Some of those drivers are pretty talented when it comes to the 1 lap pace, but we have to remember most of them are mainly about the race pace, and this is what gives us such a pleasure in commentating. As 2 Shark is gonna go with 110.7 as well, just short of JTK's time.
Yeah, 4/10 of a second separating, excuse me, 400ths of a second. My. The first and second, such a thin margin between the two, and only what looks to be 4/10 of a second to third right now. Another group, Roham and Verkins, right behind. It looks like somebody following in. I believe it was Rickety going into the pits.
Yes, it was. But we can see now Lepson with his fishy helmet going through the last section of the track. Is he gonna be claimed by the Wall of Champions? Not today. He goes through,
Oh,
but
pretty
the
clean.
time is not going to be enough for the pole position. Right now he stays at P8.
Yeah, looks like somebody invalidated a lap there. We saw the red track map. A couple runners going into the pits after their initial run. See what they did right, maybe what they did wrong. Give it a go at taking another stab at things. With the 18 minutes, you really got 3 shots at putting together an out lap, a flying lap, and getting back in. Maybe you could sneak in another lap if you think you're not doing all that great, but it is one session of qualifying, so there's no safety valve of, okay, just get me into the top 15, I'll make it to the next round and just adjust. Not so much this with only the one session. You got 3 shots at it. May the fastest driver win.
Exactly. For now it looks like it's JTK's pole position to lose, but Shark is quite close behind him, so for now it looks like a battle between those two, but we cannot count out the Rickety, as he is quite strong on the quali pace when he wants to be.
Well, we've got what is essentially the bottom half of the leaderboard putting up their laps, as it looks like Crumps came across at 1:12.7, Unstoppable, or Unstoppable, excuse me, 1:14.5, a little bit off the pace there. For a first run, you just kind of get yourself. Ooh, that car was not quite pointed the correct way.
Was that George?
I believe it was.
George unfortunately retires from this qualifying. He will start P15 at the best.
Yeah, I saw it was definitely a Mercedes, but I couldn't see which one it was. But now that we see George's name grayed out, yeah, unfortunately, he is out of the session.
Well, that's gonna hurt the Mercedes brand at least, as they are not gonna have an easy time scoring big points today. But we can see Sharky getting ready for this lap. Just getting the tires nice and warm. We can see 86 degrees, 87 on the left, 85 on the right, and he starts this lap with a great run through the walls of the champions. Going down to third gear and then second to fourth, probably on the exit of 2. This is looking pretty good, but I think that could be still, there is still time to gain in the first corner, maybe with a little bit of higher gears, but we can see an improvement from him. It's 40 thousandths of a second improvement for now. With a great exit him, he can make up a lot of time.
We'll see what we have coming into the S's here, and we'll be headed into the hairpin turn, which will lead into the casino straight to the back end of the lap. So we'll see how clean he comes through the hairpin here. And we have Rocco.
Rocco goes with the first position with 1:10.4, but we saw after 2 sectors that Shark was improving by more than 2 tenths, because we have Catastrophe in Alpine, unfortunately destroying his car before he could finish the second sector. And we can see Shark going a little bit short once again.
Oh, 500ths of a second between Rocco and Shark, just catching a bit of a bad one there. Shark playing second fiddle to, I believe, JTK in the first go around, and now Rocco pipping Shark with that second run. Wow, close here for the fight for the top of the leaderboard.
I might have had a hallucination, but I think I saw a drop of rain.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And I'm not wrong. I don't know if you can see this, but I think it started to rain a little bit.
Oh, well, that's going to slow everything down and make it, almost impossible to take this time of 110.4 off the top. You've got a couple runners still out on the track, but now that's really going to be it for qualifying. If the rain starts to come, it will slow the track down significantly.
That is a curveball I was talking about earlier, but I did not expect it to happen in qualifying. As we can see, JTK is gonna try his best in this pretty difficult circumstance to still improve his lap time and try to aim for that pole position.
Now, looked like he was a little off the pace. If it is raining,
and he's
it's
already
starting to
out of the lap.
I think the rain is yep. Yeah.
That's it.
That'll pretty much do it for our qualifying now. It's really just a matter of essentially waiting out the clock at this point. With the rain coming down, no shot at the 110.4 of Rocco. So, is it too early to call him the provisional pole here?
I don't think it is. I think it's quite clear that he is not able to do anything after this. As everyone is just going to the pit thing, I don't think anyone will come out unless the race is gonna be in the race that's gonna be rain.
Well, you were definitely right in spotting the rain, so good job on you on that. However, we've got about 5 minutes here. So, what do you think? Do you want to establish an over-under on the race for the potential of the Wall of Champions reaching out and biting someone?
Well, the potential is pretty high in the race, as we have people going out in inverts. It might be a strategy if the race is gonna be wet, as they will have a little bit of a practice at least in those conditions.
Yeah, get some insight on the setup for what you'd want to do if the race is in fact in the wet. But it looks like a good number of our runners have just said, all right, we're done here. Let's move on to the race. There's little else to see here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6. Half the field already essentially just packing it in and saying, all right, to the race we go.
This is gonna get interesting for sure. We might actually get a little bit of a race between the Haas in front of the Alfa and Alfa Romeo, if they decide to give us a little bit of a showdown here before the race starts.
Well, that would make the final 3 minutes of qualifying a little bit more interesting than just literally watching the time tick down and the raindrops fall.
That is true, but we can't, of course, say that they are going to do anything, as they don't want to destroy their cars and try to get some penalty points out of this. As I see, I have one thing to do apparently. Thank you for saying. And that should be better now. Thank you, Rico. As JTK even is actually, I think, going out on Inters. Yes, he is. Well.
Now, looks like we caught a yellow in Sector 2. I think the second Haas there, either Lepson or Unstoppable, may have just pulled off to make way.
That is possible. We actually absolutely didn't say. We didn't see it, unfortunately. My English kind of broke there, just as the weather broke today around Canada. But, well, looking at the quality time sheet, who do you think has the best chance of winning the race?
Now, the first race I commentated on, Rocco did a little bit of a worst to first kind of thing. Had an early incident, worked his way back all the way up to sixth. So I'm going to say Rocco because I know if something does happen, he can persevere and work his way through the field, which, he gets off the line a little slow. Maybe Shark or JTK get ahead of him. Rocco, I believe, has what it takes to get back in front. Uh-oh.
And we're back. The stream died for a second, but as I was saying, I don't know what happened, so I'm sorry about that. As I was saying, the race is not gonna be as much about pace as it is about being precise and just perfectly in the middle of the being too far and too little on the throttle.
Uh-oh. A little bit of a technical difficulty there, huh? Okay. Well, it looks like we have TC Gaming 2121, last one out. Gonna have a last shot at a lap, but I can't fathom him being able to improve on the time in the wet. So probably gonna go right back into the pits. And that looks to be exactly what's gonna happen.
He is the last one out there, so once he retires his car, we will get on and with the race. So let's just see, probably for the last time, this livery of Haas around the circuit. As the next season we will be going through to the new era and the new liveries will be of course added.
I think the new Haas livery was released 2 days ago?
Yes, it was. Precisely 2 days ago, yeah. What do you think about it? As we have the...
It's a Haas.
Oh yeah, it is, yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we have our top three of Rocco, Shark and JTK. After that we have Roham in the Red Bull, Rickety in the McLaren in P5. Unfortunately, this did not go to plan for him. Then we have Virkins in Ferrari in P6, Catastrofas P7, TC Gaming, the first Haas, right there, the one that was waiting until the end. In P8, Magnetic finishes out the P9 and the P10 is Felix Rafael with probably not the quality he was hoping for.
Well, quali isn't going to completely mess up the race, but starting in the front has its advantages. So, I look to see who's at the front of the field, who's going to be able to stay clean. And being at the front of the field usually helps with staying clean because it's very hard to get collected by somebody when everybody's behind you.
That is true. As we can see, we have unfortunately clear weather At least for the start, of course, as we had the same thing happen in quali. We don't know. We might have a little bit of a rain down the road. Hopefully, at least.
Yeah, the overcast skies are a little rough, and it looks like we might be getting right into it with no formation laps. So 10 seconds, and then we'll see the lights counting up to race start.
As you precisely said, we are waiting for one more driver, I think, to just finish up his last perfect touches around the setup of his car. As we are stuck. Oh, please don't tell me the lobby just crashed. As it didn't, okay. We have... No, we do have a formation lap. Don't lie to me next time.
Ay, ay, ay. Wow, I'm surprised. The last couple races, I thought there would be a formation lap. It's just lights out and away we go.
It is.
All right, so...
We have a mix of tires around the grid. As the first place, Rocco is starting on the hards. This is a pretty good decision, looking at that he can, with an early safety car, go medium to the end. Then we have 4 drivers on mediums that are gonna try and hunt down Rocco and pass him as fast as they can. Then we've got the Ferrari on hards, same strategy as our pole position Sita. Then we've got Catastropheas on softs. This is a quite unusual strategy for someone that starts in the top 10, but well, it's gonna at least give us some entertainment. After that we've got...
We'll go back to Catastropheus and what I think about the soft tires in just a second, but we do have a mix of every tire out there, and I think that is quite impressive that everybody's on different strategies. So do we think there's going to be rain? You put on the softs and just kind of get what you can. And just like we had in Baku in one of the races there, half of the race was under sunny skies, but then the clouds came in and the later stages of the race were in the rain.
That is possible, but then that doesn't explain the hard runners at all.
An imperfect weather forecast will do that. The hard runners are kind of betting on the opposite, with the rain coming either not at all or very late in the session.
That is true. As we have 2, 3, 4 and 5 lights. As it's lights out, away we go, and Rocco has actually a pretty good start, but One Shark with an amazing start to the race is going to overtake our pole position Sita and sets himself up into P1, as we have somehow Catastropheas up into P4 straight away. And there is
it looks like
driver.
Somebody's a little sideways there. Phoenix Raphael just getting caught up in the festivities there, getting knocked to the back. But a beautiful charge by Catastropheus as we see the predicted stop strategy.
As there is a Ferrari out!
Oh, no. Yikes. That's going to be a yellow.
That's a virtual safety car. Well, that's something we did not expect that early in the race.
No, unfortunate for Magnetique as well. You never want to see anybody get knocked out of the race, and it looked like, facing the wrong way along the wall. Just, yikes.
But as we said, Catastropheus had a great charge. But we can see Cyan as well, 7 places up already.
Yeah, very true. I believe he was also one of the soft tire runners as he started in the back, unable to set a time in qualifying, as well as George. And it looks like a couple of our, at least one, maybe two hard tire runners are just nope. Well, a wing change as well.
I think that was due to the some kind of at least contact in between those drivers. But we can
Well,
see
Phoenix Raphael was turned around sideways, so. Oh, and unfortunately, the virtual safety car ends while the runners, I believe Phoenix Raphael is still in the pits. So, oh,
he
yikes.
just exited the pit lane, yeah. Well, unfortunately for Catastropheus as well, he is stuck behind his teammate for now.
Oh, this is where, yeah, get them team orders into play. Catastropheus is faster than you, JTK.
I don't think he likes to hear it, unfortunately, for the Alpine duo, as Catastropheus is still gonna be stuck behind his teammate on the worst tire.
We're seeing all across the board. I think that was about 5 or 6 changes of the fastest lap as our runners came across. Wow. DRS enabled now, so this should start to shuffle the deck a little bit once we get into the DRS detection zones, which I believe are in the section right before the hairpin.
There is one
and
here,
right
and
after.
there is two after the hairpin. So here on the DRS zone, Rickety was able to close down up to 4/10 of the gap. Now, everything depends on his exit from this chicane, from this hairpin. Can he be faster on the throttle than the Ferrari in front of him? By the looks of it, he is. But does he really want to overtake here or on the second straight? He's going for it right here. Ferrari doesn't defend much at all. As in front we have a JTK going through Rocco as well. Those hards aren't good right now for this driver.
Well, you're going to give up a little now being on the hards. It's just obviously not the fastest tire. Not much you can do about that. But what you're looking to do is get a good 20, 22 laps in, and then you transfer over to the mediums, or maybe try to just
I don't
go
think
as
he'll be
long
able
as you
to.
can.
I'm sorry to cut in, but I think the rain started to fall a little bit again.
Yeah, it looks like George was already in the pits, so can we go back to him to see if he's maybe got intermediates on?
He's on softs. I don't know why, to be fair.
Interesting. Okay, that, as the plot thickens here, Inspector Crusoe, what do you got for us here in the way of what you think might be going through these runners' minds? George, his race is pretty much donezo at this point. The virtual safety car had him come into the pits, but he was left out to dry coming down the pit exit while the virtual safety car disengaged, so everybody else able to shoot off. But
that's true. He might have been left to dry, but soon he'll be left to wet, as I think the rain will be intensifying throughout the next couple of laps. Unless I'm hallucinating, which can happen.
Well, it looks like we have Felix Raphael in the pits again as well.
Yes, he is bidding for Inters.
Okay. Oh, it looks like we have somebody slowed down. It might be Suyan losing a little bit of time there. That orange dot not moving. So,
unfortunately, it is. As we can see, he's back down to P11. But is his front wing alright? Was it just a spin, or is there damage? It was just a spin, fortunately for this driver. As we have George already being lapped. He's putting on Inters. Which means I was not hallucinating, and we will see some rain in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, it would not shock me to see the rain come out, the overcast skies at the start. So this will favor those that were on the soft tires, like Catastropheus being able to jump up, I believe, 4 positions off the start. The hard tires not really going to be able to run very long. Once the wet comes out, you're on ice skates at that point, being on soft, medium, or hard. So, oh boy.
As you could see there, Rocco actually slid a little bit. The asphalt is getting more and more wet. Will we see the top 4 drivers diving into the box for the new set of inters now or later on the race? They decide against it for now at least. As Catastropheus actually goes in. This is gonna be interesting.
All right, let's see who's right here between Catastropheus or everybody else who is now going to jump in front of him. If he's able to put up time on those intermediate tires, if the track condition worsens over this next lap or so, massive advantage to getting out onto the intermediate sooner rather than later.
That is true. As you can see, the asphalt is getting more and more wet, but that might have been a little bit of an early call. As we have, I think, George spinning out again. I'm not quite sure, as we had a yellow there.
Oh, Catastropheus picked up a penalty somewhere. George had multiple warnings add up into a penalty. I did not see what the warning... Suyan, multiple warnings. Oh, penalties. Where are you?
There is a Mercedes stop on the side of the track again. I think it's just George letting people go. As we have JTK actually hitting for the inters, and one shark is the only one that stayed out.
Well, it looks like Rickety stayed out as well, so...
I think this might be the call from the Red Bull, as DRS hasn't been disabled yet, which means the dries should be still faster. As George is retiring, okay, not on the track, in the pits, thankfully.
Okay, so George just deciding to tap out here. Gonna call it quits. And it does look like there is a little bit of rain. I can start to see the raindrops coming in. So now it's just a guessing game as to when the track is going to let go and get out.
Look at the sector times. He's only 2/10 down on his best lap. It's not inters yet. That was a bad call from the top 3 that actually pitted.
Well, we'll see. If the track conditions worsen enough, just one lap, you could lose a whole heck of a lot of time if you end up, going around or who knows what. Shark about half a second off the pace from his best lap. So it's definitely slowing the track down.
But you can see JTK is 3 seconds off already. Shark did a 14.4 and JTK is gonna do 17.9. That's a huge difference, and I think right now both Alpines and the AlphaTauri are shooting themselves in the leg.
You're not wrong. I mean, it doesn't look like a very great show for those on the intermediates. Suyan up into 8th now. I believe he pitted, put on this... No pit for him.
He started on those first, yeah. And he actually was, I believe, around 11th when he got into the accident with, I don't remember which car it was, so I'm not gonna point fingers at anybody. But if Shark keeps up this pace and Rickety behind him is gonna keep on closing up that gap, or even just managing it, I think Rickety actually might overcut drivers like JTK Rocco and Catastropheas, who was passed by Lepson already in the Alfa Romeo.
Oh, it's such a... Ooh, uh-oh, Rocco getting sent to the penalty box now. So multiple warnings for him, and it looks like an AlphaTauri getting a little sideways.
It was his teammate, Cram.
So is this where our regular tires are going to start to fade away and the intermediates start to become the preferred tire?
I don't think it's
let's...
the time yet, to be fair. As we don't see Shark still losing only 2 to 3 tenths in the 2 sectors coming up to the third one. So I don't think he's going to pit anytime soon. I think he's just enjoying the time he has out there right now, as he's only 7 tenths off of his pace at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, he is absolutely flying right now, just out there and off he goes. But almost, getting close to 8 seconds ahead of Rickety. TC Gaming out on the mediums as well. Another just close to 3 seconds adrift. So Two Shark is almost running his own race at this point, and everybody else has got to really look at, okay, what kind of a strategy call can we try to make here?
Okay, JTK pitted for hards. He got rid of his intermediates right now.
It looks like, yeah, that might have been the wrong call here. Catastropheus and JTK. Catastropheus actually still staying out on the intermediates. I figured both of them might want to consider going in. But it looks like whatever
is gonna just risk it, because if this rain is gonna keep up, there will be an intermediate condition someday. But I don't think it's anytime soon yet, as I think it's Suyan that spinned around in the hairpin, unfortunately.
Yeah, Suyan getting a little squirrely there, so he'll lose a little bit of real estate. Crump's going to get by him, maybe Lepson as well. Suyan going into the pits. So we'll see what tire he switches over to. If it is the weather...
Inters. Those are the intermediates.
If it's inners or if it's intermediate.
Oh no, it's actually hards.
Well, it doesn't look like it was weather related. It might just be, 10 laps on soft tires is a little bit too much to ask.
As we have Catastropheas as well pitting from inters down to hards. Well, this race has just thrown a real curveball.
Well, it looked like everybody who tried to get out in front of the rain and get onto the intermediates sooner rather than later has been bit in the butt, so to say, by the weather, as it looks like it's not raining enough for the intermediates to become useful. Everybody's at the top of the leaderboard is, just running their medium tires, and off they go. Everybody else that's tried to make the strategy calls or get out in front of everybody else, tried an undercut, has unfortunately, as you said before, kind of shot themselves in the foot by, getting a little too fancy with the strategy when you just need to get out there and go.
As Cyan gets another... No, I think, yeah, that's another 3-second penalty for him. But it's not gonna matter too much, as he's down in P12 right now. And the closest battle we have for P3. It's Vehicans versus TC Gaming. Well, I did not expect such large, actually, gaps between the drivers for this track, but the decisions that some drivers and their engineers took were just wrong.
Yeah, it looks like Phoenix Raphael is in the pits now, switching from intermediates to hards. I would presume Rocco, who I believe is on the main casino straight, might head into the pits. He's the only runner still out on the intermediates, but it looks like he's opting to run them for another lap coming across the start finish line.
Maybe he's still hoping for a little bit more rain. But I'm sorry to disappoint you, Rocco. I don't think that's coming.
Yeah, you're not wrong at this point. Everybody else who gambled on the intermediates has just went, all right, this did not work. Get us on the hards, and hopefully we can go on the hard tire until the end of the race.
And I think we might have our first overtake for quite a while as the Ferrari goes ahead of Haas. And of course Haas is not able to do anything on this straight due to Ferrari having another DRS straight. Which is in my opinion something that Canadian circuit has to work on.
Yeah, that is a little silly that the driver that starts the casino straight makes the pass, then gets to reopen their DRS wing after making the pass. Logic dictates it should be the other way around, and the driver that got overtaken should be able to then try to run it back on the driver who just passed them.
Exactly, but it is what it is. We aren't the ones that make the circuits, unfortunately. Although if we were, I think we'd do a pretty damn well job. But going back to Rocco, who's just pitted for the mediums. He saw it wasn't worth it, and I think he's just gonna try to make those mediums last until the end of the race.
20 laps, maybe a bit of an ask, although Shark up at the top here, 15 laps on those medium tires. This, if it were a conventional race, is probably about the window where I'm looking at, all right, I've got 20 laps left. I can easily get that with the hards. So let's make a one stop out of it.
That is true, but looking at the gaps that he's got 10 seconds down to Rickety. He actually can go for a double stop and go twice on softs.
I don't think I'd want to do that. Just, if I were, say, perhaps Rickety or TC Gaming, maybe I'd try to do that because you have to make up the time and kind of hope for something to happen. But Shark should just, all right, I'm way ahead at this point. I've got 10 seconds. I'm going to come out in third, maybe fourth place after I go in to pit. Rickety might follow me in. The only real problem for Shark is Verkins, who is on the hard tire and is going to go at least another 10 laps, I would think. Maybe if anybody options onto the softs, it might be Verkins from my point of view.
That is possible. We also don't know what's the tire wear of those drivers due to the cold temperatures that are right now around the track. The tire wear will be less than it usually is. So we might see some actually pretty damn well stretched out stints.
Well, at the end of the day, it wasn't a rain race, so we are going to have to switch the tires from one compound to the other no matter what, if memory serves me correctly, unless they made some really funny rule that I'm not aware of.
To be fair, that will be funny. Imagine if we would see a driver getting disqualified at the end of the race, getting black flagged for not changing the tires.
Yeah, just running the hards all 35 laps. Oh no, Suyan just
I think it's his
yikes.
third penalty already.
Yeah, he went into the pits and served away the penalties only to find a way to pick up another time penalty. So I have a question for you. At what point do the penalties just add up to the point where race control is like, all right, we've had enough here. Off you go. Black flag, you're done.
If I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be around 35 and more seconds of penalties. If you accumulate that much, the race control will disqualify you right there and then.
All right, now with this shot we have, you can see a couple raindrops bouncing off the side pod. So it's definitely raining, but it doesn't seem to be raining to a significant enough degree that it's affecting the race and what tires that the runners are going to go on.
And we do
As
have
it looks
Shark
like,
in the box, yeah. And
yeah.
he is opting on mediums, just as he said. And right behind him following is Rickety. And here's McLaren going to the papaya box. And he's going on the hards the same way that Shark did. I think he's just trying to basically copy Shark and just try to stay behind him. Because he knows if he'll just stay on the track, he will have the second place.
Yeah, so we have Verkins in the lead by a little over a second on Shark. However, Verkins, 18 laps on those hard tires, they're going to have to go at some point soon. So we'll see how long Verkins actually options to stay on those hard tires.
And DRS is actually disabled.
Oh, it is raining now. All right, so DRS disabled, and we have somebody getting off track. So a local yellow out.
This might be a call for inters, as we have, I think that's Cramp. That's Cramp, just going around and destroying right side of his front wing, which seems that the drivers have problems with the traction right now. This might still change a lot in the race.
Oh, this just makes everything, fall into Verkin's lap here. Possibly unstoppable as well. Both of those runners on tires that they've started the race with.
Same with the Unstoppable's teammate, Lepson. He started on those mediums.
Yeah, so I believe that's the Haas duo of Lepson and Unstoppable that have. Alfa Romeo. I'm sorry. Red is red to me. Ferrari. Right. Haas is white.
And we can see he's actually going for inters.
Yeah, you can see the grooves on the intermediate tires. So DRS disabled. Intermediate tires for Lepson. Have we finally found enough rain in this race that we're gonna option off to the intermediates now?
I think right now the drivers will just look at the times and the timing sheets of all the drivers and see how Lepson is gonna do around these tracks with those inters. But we have Vilkens, unfortunately, with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, going into the box and opting for mediums.
Oh, Crump's picking up multiple warnings. So Verkin's not going for the intermediates. Oh boy, this is an interesting state of the racetrack here. Shark out in front with Rickety almost 15 seconds behind. Verkin's making that mandatory pit stop, but picking up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Something to keep in mind. I believe TC Gaming has a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings.
I think so. As we can see, Shark is already 1.2 seconds off of his normal delta, which means it's not... I don't think it's the best tire for now. If we can see the battle between Cyan and Lepson, this might clear this whole thing up.
Well, Birkins went for mediums instead of intermediates, so it's tough to say what the right call here is.
For now, it still might be mediums, as we can see Cyan just closing in on the Alfa Romeo ahead. But on the traction zones, Alfa Romeo is actually much better.
Well, Crumps is in the pits, or just coming out of the pits, I should say, and they've gone on to mediums, Unstoppable, onto intermediates, making their mandatory stop. So Lepson and Unstoppable going to the intermediates. Everybody's all over the place here. This is a very interesting race to me because there isn't any clear strategy as to what the proper way to approach this track state is.
That is true, and to be fair, one safety car could just flip the race around his head.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like, aside from an early virtual safety car, we've had clean racing, which is fantastic, although a lot of the runners are probably catching warnings for potentially cutting a corner, and we see up and down, we've got 3, 6, 8 runners out of the 14 that have penalty time against their names. So, yikes on that.
It's true, but look at where JTK and Rocco are right now. Rocco is already making up a lot of pace. And wait a second, do you remember what lap times JTK was doing on Inters? He was doing 1:17.9. He just did 1:17.1 on hards.
Yeah, so, oh, man, it's such a... this is the race track state that just gives, a engineer nightmares, because you don't know. You know it's raining, but you don't know if it's raining enough. And early on, we saw the strategy call from a number of runners. Okay, get out onto the intermediates, and then the track dried out, and the intermediates were just rendered completely undrivable.
As we can see, Verken's actually passing Rickety for second place in this race. This is going to be an interesting end.
Well, if anybody's going to run down Shark, it would have to be Verkins, but he's going to have to do it. Oh no.
As JTK is claimed by the Wall of Champions chicane, not by the wall, but chicane itself. But we can see Lepson is gaining to Catastrofeas in a rapid pace. Our front runners are doing 1:17.1, something around this lap time. Let's see what the Inters can do.
Well, let's see. Not much better.
It's
we're
into quite worse. 1:18.6.
So yeah, the intermediates are still off the pace, which unfortunate for those that have optioned onto the intermediates. They've just not made the correct strategy call by the way everything is developed so far in this race. As we are into the final third of the race, we've got 10 laps to go.
And we have a retirement of Unstoppable, and this is a full course safety car.
Yep. There it is, the big yellow dot, that safety car coming out onto the track. So, oh, Shark, what a shame. 20 seconds gone.
As we can see, the green Aston Martin car just waiting up for Shark, who is finishing his second sector, I'm sorry.
And it looks like we have a mass exodus into the pit lane. Rocco, TC Gaming, JPK, Lars, Catastropheus, all in the pits. And they're all optioning on very different tires.
2 of them on inters and 3 of them on softs.
What?
This is gonna be interesting. As we can see, Alpine just choosing to split their strategies, not be in the wrong again with both cars. One Shark is pitting again as well, and he's opting for softs.
Let's see what we get from him.
Is Verkins and Ricky gonna pit? And if so, on what tire they are gonna exit? Everybody's boxing. This is crazy.
Well, the safety car is still just kind of
as we have
there.
Mediums for Ferrari, and for Rickety we have softs.
Oh, my head is going to explode on this one, as it looks like Shark has caught up with the safety car, and the safety car is leading Shark around the track now. So, oh no!
As Lepson gets a drive-through penalty that he can serve only after the safety car period is gonna end.
Oh, that's just gonna annihilate his race even further. Just yikes. Unfortunate for that penalty to come out. But let's look at the front here. We've got Roham, 7-lap mediums.
I do think Roham will be disqualified after the race because he is not participating in it actively. So we can confidently say that one Shark is leading and Rickety is right now in P2. Virtually at least.
Oh, Roham ghosted out. Unfortunate. I didn't even notice that.
To be fair, I didn't notice it at the beginning as well. So no worries to that. But this will all be at least cleared after the race with the race direction.
Yeah, I think whoever our race steward is this evening, afternoon, whatever it happens to be in your part of the world, they're going to have a busy night ahead of them because everybody's going to be saying, oh, how is this corner cutting? Some penalties are cut and dry, like speeding in the pit lane. But some of these corner cutting warnings and such might have a little merit to them. So you never know what's going to actually happen when it comes to all of these penalties that are being thrown around.
That is true. And we can see the field is so spread out that it's half of the second lap under the safety car and we still don't have 4 drivers next to our train.
Now this is so silly. So we're looking at, let's see, 28. If the safety car comes in on 29, it might come in next lap. There's no shot of it this lap. It's already gone past the point of no return, and we haven't seen the notification. So we've got at least 7 laps left. Can the softs last for 7 laps?
On this track, easily. If this would be any other track, for example Silverstone or Baku, I would be scared for those guys, as on Baku they barely lasted 4 laps. But you can see the Alfa Romeo in front of the McLaren is struggling for grip. I think Rocco might pull off something amazing once again.
Well, we'll see. He is the lead runner of those who have optioned into the intermediate tires. You see, let's see, 6 runners that in the last sequence all went on to soft tires. our leader of the race by a huge margin before this safety car, a 20-second lead that was wiped out. Shark going in and going on the softs, so perhaps he believes the softs are going to get him through and hold the track enough, even though it looks like the rain is progressively not being kind here, because I can see the rain starting to pile up on the track.
The water is piling up and we will have a safety car restart in this lap. Hopefully the drivers behind can join the group, but we couldn't have one more lap of safety car. As we know, per rules there's only 3 laps maximum. And we see the drivers just trying to get the temperature into their soft compounds. I don't think it's working. You can see Rocco not even struggling, he's just driving straight. He doesn't even want this temperature in his tires. I do believe AlphaTauri Garage made a better call to pit Rocco onto the inter tires.
Well,
as
ooh.
Rocco with another 3 seconds penalty, unfortunately. But if this is gonna be Inter's conditions, I don't think it's gonna be a problem for him to overtake those guys in front of him and make that gap, as everyone except him will have no grip. As we can see, fast overtake is already here. JTK in the background as well, overtaking one of the Haas's.
Oh, we got somebody as Sector 1.
I believe those were the back markers getting lapped, just trying to move out of the way. As we see Rickety going up into the 2nd place. But look how close Rocco is, even though he battled against the Ferrari of Verkens, he's still only 5/10 out of Rickety.
Well, we've got a little huddle situation with Roham. He went onto the mediums 10 laps ago, and he's just, trying to hold on for dear life here. Into 4th place, it looks like Rocco got around him. So now it'll be, the real issue is, can Rocco get around Rickety and Shark? And thank you for switching over to the penalty, composite penalty time. So Rocco has 3 seconds on Rickety, who has 3 seconds on Shark, that they have to make up over the actual lap times.
And we have the 2nd AlphaTauri of Crump just retiring in the pit lane, unfortunately. But I think this is where Rocco will make his move around down the inside. There was a little bit of a slide from the AlphaTauri driver. I think he might have lost control of his car trying to overtake the McLaren ahead. But Rickety with his cold blood, and he's not giving up. He is just driving on his own. He doesn't care what's happening behind him. He is not faced with the attempts that Rocco is trying.
Yeah, with all of this, Shark is actually building up a bit of a gap here. So with the rain, DRS is disabled. So under normal circumstances, Rocco would be able to get around Rickety no problem. But there's no DRS to help in these long straightaways, as we see them both shooting down the Casino Straight.
And Rocco much closer than he was before. We can jump on board with him and see if he will make it stick. He is quite close. There's wheel to wheel. Rickety is a little bit deep into turn 1, but then defends perfectly on the inside. He gets a little bit out of shape on the exit of turn 2 and gives Rocco the position. Now Rocco has to put his foot down, floor it, and try to make as big of a gap as he can to Rickety and the drivers behind him, and possibly try to catch the Shark in front.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting battle against time. We've got 4 laps left, so not much time left on the track, as well as the penalty time, as Rickety is now fallen a second behind. Rocco's going to have to put up a second plus on Rickety every lap to stay above the penalty time composite 3-second difference that needs to be made up.
That's true, as we can see, Rocco is gaining on Shark, but JTK, you're right behind him. I think JTK is without the penalty. Yes, he is. He might be gunning down for the win later on.
Well, JTK has gotten around Rickety as well, so, you know, oh man, this is so interesting to see the developments of this race and how all of the strategy calls have gone good, bad, otherwise for these drivers.
This race has put the engineers sideways around, upside down, and even from down under to just try to make up a great strategy for this race. One Shark is right now on a good strategy. I don't think it's the optimal one. I think he should have went for the inters during the safety car period. That would have been probably much safer, but right now he's got the gap down up to 2.3 seconds, 2.4 seconds from Rocco, and he's just gonna try to manage it as much as he can, as there's only 3 laps remaining after he crosses the line.
If things stay as they are, and unfortunately it looks like Lepson may have smacked the wall, so it only looks like a local yellow, so no crash gate nonsense here, thankfully.
As we are going into lap 33, there is no more possibility for the full safety car. This is racing up until the last second.
Beautiful. All right, so Rocco's got the 6-second penalty.
But look
he's
how
built
close
up.
he is. He is 1.3 seconds away.
He's getting there, but I think he'll run out of time before he's able to get ahead of Shark, much less 6 seconds ahead of Shark.
That is true, but he might get ahead of Shark, and then look who's right behind him. Look who Rocco is pulling up to Shark as well. It's JTK that doesn't have any penalties, and he is on inters as well.
Yeah, it looks like Shark and JTK are the ones actually fighting for victory here. Rocco, with the 6 seconds worth of penalties, might need a little bit of an intervention from the stewards to salvage this run. It looks like he's still going to be probably in 3rd place, even with factoring in the penalties. So a great drive for all 3 of these runners as we are on the white flag lap, lap 34, so one more after this one.
The penultimate lap of the race. This is gonna be quite interesting, as Rocco might be the black horse in the deciding actually part of this race, as he will decide when he overtakes Shark, and if he overtakes Shark, if JTK is gonna follow him, or if JTK is actually gonna try and overtake Rocco before he's getting through. He's gonna go through Shark.
Yeah, Rocco unfortunately is going to be relegated to the role of spoiler between Shark or JTK here.
As the issue is Shark is struggling on these tires on every exit of the slow corner. I don't think he'll, even if Rocco is overtaking him.
Oh, there's
right
the pull
now,
around. He's got in front, so provisionally in the lead now, Rocco, as we finish the penultimate lap, and we are on the last lap. So can Rocco build up 6 seconds as Shark and JTK fight for what will potentially be the actual top step of the podium, as Rocco has to somehow...
As we have
no.
Roham that's being disqualified from the session for not using 2 compounds of the tires because he pitted from medium to medium. And I might have cast him a little bit earlier, saying that wouldn't it be funny to see one of our drivers getting disqualified for that when we were talking about that part of the race. As Too Sharp actually gets a 3-second time
Oh.
penalty. JTK
Whoa.
has to only stay behind him. He doesn't have to do anything anymore.
Well, if Shark slows down enough, Rocco, well, they're already into the hairpin, so I doubt the pipe dream is real here. As we have
House of
I
TC
believe
Gaming.
it's TC Gaming that is gotten out of sorts. But Rocco will be across the line first, Shark behind him, but JTK staying clean might
And this is gonna
actually
be
be
super
the winner
close.
of our race.
JTK is gonna win the race after penalties fast crossing the line. Was Rocco, he is unfortunately going down to P3. P2 comes for Shark and P1 for JTK. P4 comes for the Ferrari of
boy.
Vacants. Rickety unfortunately in P5 as we can see Felix getting absolutely smacked by the McLaren after the race is done. Then we have Catastropheas in P6, then P7 for Lars, P8 for TC, P9 for Cyan. Lepson is gonna finish up our top 10, but the race is enabled now. The track dried out in a matter of seconds. What's going on in this race?
I don't get it, and oh boy, I just don't. Everything I thought I knew about racing has, that whole book of knowledge that I've built up, just, right out the window.
Yeah, I can just agree to that, as I have no idea what just happened today. This was crazy qualifying session, a crazy race, and even a crazier finish at the end.
All right, so for those of you that have gone all the way through this, I hope you have your popcorn ready, because I think in the interviews we're going to provide a good bit of salt here. So this is going to be an interesting interview session, as we've got our first, second, and third runners across the line in the race, inverted in that order on the podium, with the penalties being assessed to their final time.
This is gonna be a hell of a lot of discussions after the race in the FIA chambers, but for now we have JTK winning the race with the fastest lap as well. In the second place we have Shark for Red Bull, then AlphaTauri of Rocco in P3 unfortunately. Even though he crossed the line fast, he is not fast at the end. And, which is weird, we have both Too Shark and Rocco on the same best time, which is quite unusual to happen. Then P4 we got Ferrari of Vacants, P5 McLaren of Rickety, P6 goes to Catastropheas, then we have two Hases of Lars and TC occupying P7, P8, and P9 goes to the second McLaren of Cyan. Finishing up our top 10 is Lepson, and finishing up the drivers that finished the race is Felix Raphael for Aston Martin. Drivers that did not finish the race are Cramp, Unstoppable, George, and Magnetic, and of course the poor disqualified Roham for Red Bull. This has been quite a pleasure to commentate, and quite a chaotic race to win for JTK for sure. So we will get right back to you when we will have our drivers lined up and ready. We will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is me, Jacob, and Frico right beside me. We have our winner today with the fastest lap is JTK. Hello.
Hey,
And Frico is gonna try and please you guys with his questioning today.
Oh my. Well, JTK, here we go. We're in the interrogation booth. I've got the light shining down on you. What was with this race and these tire selections? Can you take me through the decision you made and maybe even your teammate made on the tires that you chose to use?
yeah, well, it was um quite a circus, really. At the start, it was dry, of course, so I was starting on mediums, my teammate was starting on the softs, and we figured the rain is gonna hit soon, so we'll just see how far we can get. And I was trying to stick with Shark, I think it was. Um, yeah, went quite okay. I could keep with him, but eventually it started getting too wet, and my teammate went into the pits, tried the inters. And he said the inters you could break way later with them, and it was insane. So I figured I would just try an undercut on Shark, maybe get in front, because in the rain it's hard to overtake. But we actually found that the dries were way quicker. So eventually, a couple laps later, I switched back to hards, try to go to the end. And the cold hards were literally better than the inters, because the inters were overheating. So my teammate switched back as well, and we just figured we're to go for the two stop. We just try and go to the end, and then the rain started picking up again. So and another safety car came. So I just thought I'd go for inters, and my teammate went for softs. Eventually, the inters paid off because it was just way quicker. It was 2 seconds a lap quicker than the softs in the ending stages of the race. So because of
Yeah.
that, I could catch the leaders.
Yeah, I saw early on, and Jacob also saw as well that the early adapters onto the intermediates all kind of got burned.
Yeah.
So later on, the switch over paid off. But was there a point where you're just going, "Oh man, do that little rain dance and, hope for the best?"
Yeah, me and my teammate were constantly saying, please, just rain a little bit more, rain a little bit more. My teammate was actually running a wet setup, so maybe if you talk to him, he will tell you as well. So maybe he can tell you a little bit about it as well if you guys drag him in the interview booth in a second. But yeah, we were just praying for the rain to start coming down a little bit more.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get the formality of it out of the way and say, well done in managing these absolutely abysmal conditions where no tire really seemed to be the correct answer throughout the entirety of the race.
Yeah, it was really difficult, but I'm really glad it worked out.
So I guess you'd know much more than I would. Where does this put you with the victory in the overall standings?
I am going to be honest, I don't really know. I did 4 races now, I think it was, and I DNF'd in 2, and I won the other 2. So I have no
Oh,
idea. I have no
all right,
idea.
all right, Ricky Bobby, you're either first or you're last. All right, that's.
Yeah, basically, that's what it comes down to, yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. All right. Well, thank you, JTK, for the insight on the winning drive here in the Canadian Grand Prix.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
It was our pleasure. And now we're gonna move on to, as we're moving to the Canadian, the one, the only, the two Shark. Hopefully he was in the car. Just a wink wink joke here. And on the side, but hello Shark.
Hey, I was gonna say.
Intruder, intruder. Nope, they gotta go.
As I have
Oh
no
my.
idea what's going on. Shark, can you just...
It's not me.
Well, Shark is not getting interviewed. I
Nope.
cannot be...
Sorry.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, can you just calm down, my friend? Thank you. And stop the shithousery. Congratulations on P2 today. I think you were hoping for a little bit more, but the last tire choice wasn't the greatest in your work. So
Yeah, I got messaged by this guy Two Shark, and he said to change the strategy when the safety car came out to from the hards, which was really unlucky timing. Like the hards just came out for me for my strategy, and then DRS got disabled, and because I don't like to run traction control off, it really became a difficult race for me to be able to stay ahead of JTK, and I'm just such a crappy driver that I couldn't keep him behind.
well, it happens, but at least you still managed to get P2.
Yeah, I mean, got P2 while having a race ban. I mean, it all works out.
Ay.
This will be
All right,
noted,
now-
of course, but if to
I gotta focus on one thing that I noticed. What happened that caused you to pick up a penalty late in the race?
It's really difficult for me to hold my composure and really just be able to keep the car going in a straight line. And when there's an actual battle that's happening with another driver, like I said, because I run traction control, I'm so focused on driving, I really don't focus on the track. And so I just went off. I did everything I could to stay ahead of JTK. And so I threw all caution out the window because, like I said, I'm a crappy driver. And yeah.
Oh damn! Okay, now I realize what you were saying. Is I just got messaged from the race direction. It wasn't you in the car. It was Gamma. I I didn't realize it at the beginning. Well, this is awkward, but thank you for your insight to the Gamma's race, and we are now gonna move on to Gamma. As we have
Oh, what the hell?
our official P2 driver.
Did you guys get the wrong guy?
Well, we just realized. Hence why you should not have the same name. At least a similar one. As, you know...
Well done, sir. Well played.
Well played. We have to give that to you. That was a well-timed troll.
Yeah. Yeah.
The worst part is, One Shark basically said everything about your race, but still,
Exactly.
how
yeah.
was your race?
You know what? It's actually so good. First and second, like first stint was brilliant. Like the gap was, I think I had a free pit stop by the end of it. I was literally chilling. But I was really holding out the mediums, waiting for inters, and they just never came. It was like just this weird like middle ground between inters and dries. And then the hard stint was alright at the beginning. Then safety car, the softs were okay, but then it just went downhill from there. The inters started to actually start firing up, and that's when it got a bit scary.
Yeah, we know you probably weren't focusing and weren't hoping for the P2 finish, but I think it's still better than the top stamp of
Yeah,
the...
that's true. It's
But-
still good. It's still up there, and that's all that matters. Is just scoring the points, getting them locked away. That's all that matters.
That
So,
is
yeah.
true. How are you looking forward to the next race?
Silverstone, pretty good honestly, and I'm excited because we got the sprint, which gives me another opportunity to bag some more points, or an opportunity to come back if the sprint goes wrong. So it goes either way. But just positive overall.
That's good to hear. Thank you very much for racing and trolling us. Well, and I'll hope to see you in the next race.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
As Frico will now move on to Roca, as I already, let's say, crushed my interview with One Shark and Gamma.
Ay.
So, hello Rocco.
Hello.
All right, Rocco, take us through qualifying.
Well, my first lap was actually better than my pole lap, but I invalidated on the last corner. But then the second one, I just did a little bit better, and then, like, by not invalidating and just got pole by some luck. My sector 2 was honestly horrendous, but yeah, I'll take it, I guess.
Oh, hey, it was good enough. The last 5 minutes or so of qualifying was basically thrown out the window as the variable weather switch things over to the rain, so your time held up. That's going to bring me to the race. And how do you think you handled the strategy in the race?
Not very well at the start. Um, I mean, I went to the inters, and then it just kind of didn't rain as much as I thought. I just followed JTK into the pits because I thought it was raining, and then obviously it just wasn't raining enough to get any grip on the inters. I tried to just stay out and hope it would rain more, but it just didn't really happen. But I guess at the end, choosing the inters was the right option because obviously I got passed, but obviously I had the penalties. So
What were the penalties for, if you don't mind? Because all it said in the race was that it was multiple warnings. So was it corner cutting, things like that, that just kind of added up over the course of the race?
yeah, the truck limits. It was from when I was on the inters the first time. I just had so much understeer I couldn't stay on the truck and just kept getting warnings. But if I didn't use the warnings, I would have been like 20 seconds behind everyone. So
Fair enough. So first across the line, but unfortunately with the penalties, I believe that knocked you down to third out of all of this.
yeah.
Okay. So let's try to focus on something a little more positive here because, yeah, the penalties weren't all that great. Where are you in the championship, the overall points?
I think I'm second or third, maybe. I'm gonna update the standings in about 10 minutes, or well, I'll know of myself, but I won't be able to post it. But yeah, I think it's second or third, somewhere around there.
Okay. So at the end of the day, a bit of a positive, you third place, so you gained on hopefully people you needed to gain on to move yourself up the leaderboard.
Yeah, Verkins finished below me, I think.
Very much so, unfortunately. He had a bit of a rough race, so
Where did he finish?
I don't believe he finished the race at all. He was not classified, if memory serves me
I
correctly.
believe he finished around P6.
Oh,
Okay.
there we go. Jacob, a little bit better of a memory than me, but all
Okay.
told, a bit of a gain to be made there for you on the leader. So, something positive to take out of it. How do you think this is going to push you forward into the next race and onward?
I'm actually like quite happy with my performance, even though my strategy was really quite bad. I mean, I seem to be the fastest one at the end, considering I got past Gamma. So yeah, I think it was positive, to be honest. I mean, Silverstone is next, I think, and it's probably my worst track, so we'll
Oh
have fun
boy.
there, I guess.
Well, I will say this, in between qualifying and the race, I gave you the commentary stamp of approval. I really thought you were going to win the race. And, well, I wasn't wrong. However, those penalties kind of bit you. And, ay. Unfortunate. But well done for you, Rocco. And good luck going into Silverstone. Hopefully, you can stay near the top of the timing board.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Jacob, time to wake up. Want to bring anybody else in, or do you think that's going to do it for us here?
If you want to, we can bring in a Rickety.
Do you really want to do it?
Well, that depends if you
Oh
really want
my.
to do it.
Our very jobs as commentators might be on the line here if we do this thing.
Yeah, then don't. Let's just finish it. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching today's stream. Commentating for you was Frico. And he's muted. He's dead right now, apparently. And me, Jacob and Amjak. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.